Hi, this is Julien Stoutt, licensed personal trainer, licensed PE teacher, world record powerlifter, here to take the fear out of fitness. But today, it is going to be a compilation of things. It's going to be a reaction video and a conversation about anger, how it affects our body, and not only how it affects our body, but also how it affects our minds. Because I go through situations on a day-to-day basis as a teacher to young men and young women who tend to lose control of their emotions for one reason or another. And whatever their situation is, I understand where it comes from. I myself was once very angry for several reasons. And I now bear scars as a result of my anger. And every day that my wrist hurts, it reminds me of the time that I lost control of my temper. Now, in all fairness, the only person that got hurt was me because I was being ignorant. But so there's no, story of violence at the end of this per se. But I did lose my temper, and I did lose control of my emotions, and I did lose control of my mindset, and therefore I did something. I was being physically exerting. I'm thinking I'm exerting my anger by being physical for myself, not to anyone and not to myself, but for myself, hitting the heavy bag. And I'm just wailing away at it just unintelligibly when I know better. And I ended up missing my heavy bag and hitting a stud in my wall. Now, in all seriousness, literally skipped the bag and slipped the bag and then hit a stud on my wall and dislocated my wrist. Not for the, well, that would be my second time dislocated my wrist. The first time was a basketball injury. The second time is now me being ignorant and angry. And ever since then, I promised myself that I'm not going to get to the level of anger to where I am not anymore in control of my mind and my body. I can still get upset. Being angry is a natural response to a insulting event. However, the thing is that once you've experienced that insulting event, it is up to you on how you respond to that event. Far too many times, I've had students get into altercations. I've had students get into verbal disagreements to the point where they are now being disrespectful to authority and therefore gets themselves into a world of trouble. And one of the things that I tell people is you think you know who you're doing this to, but what you practice, you will master. And as a result, what you're going to practice is a attitude of defiance, and you are going to speak to the wrong people with the wrong tone of voice that is going to end you up in a criminal justice situation. And as a result, you are now going to be in custody of the state you reside in at that time. And I don't want people to turn around and get this twisted. You have every right to be angry with something that insulted your senses, but how you handle yourself within your anger is what will make or break you. I just got into a situation where at a local store, I had a tire situation, and the individuals made me feel like I wasn't getting the value for what it is that I purchased. And instead of I did get angry in terms of I felt insulted by the lack of, not the lack of service, because they did provide me service, but the lack of value to the service that I was receiving. And before anybody gets into racial stuff, don't get into that because that had nothing to do with it. All right. But instead of me getting angry, flipping the bird, throwing a tantrum, yelling and screaming at the top of my lungs to then possibly be removed from the premises and never be allowed to be back into the facilities ever again, I decided to speak to the general manager in an intelligent fashion, expressing that I am not happy, but not being disrespectful to him or any of his staff. I explained my situation intelligibly, logically, and then I went forward to get a more satisfying response, whether or not it gets resolved in my favor. He listened to me, he acknowledged my logic was sound, and he added to that dimension that he will then speak to corporate, took my information, and he said he will call me. I don't know if he will or not. Not going to hold it against him if he does not anytime soon. The reason why I'm bringing this up also is because about a week ago, Morant, basketball player for the Memphis Grizzlies, got on his Instagram live in the middle of a gentleman's club and proceeded to flash a weapon because I'm assuming he has ops, which for those of you who are hood declined, that means you have opposition, you have enemies, you have haters. Now, in that process, now the man is slated to lose several games out of his schedule. He is not going to play, which means he now put his team's success at risk when he is supposed to be the man up front, the man with the microphone. He's supposed to be the head honcho amongst the team, right? He's slated to get paid over $230 million according to Brian Windhorst next season, over the course of the next 5 years, beginning next season. And this man, this young man, put all of that in jeopardy because he is trying to release his demons, whatever they may be, in a way that impresses upon people that he is tough, that his anger, his rage, his manliness is not to be tested, is not to be trifled with. And for me, I'm not going to run roughshod over this young man for that, but I'm somebody, before anybody gets the whole game twisted, I am not a gangster. I've never been a thug. I've never been any of those things. But what I will tell you is I did grow up in the hood. I did grow up in the mean streets of the South Bronx. And by growing up there, I learned some things about people and how to interact with them in a way where it is most beneficial to my livelihood, that I don't be disrespectful unnecessarily, right? And I assure you, some of these responses that Ja Morant displayed in that Instagram live is things that you young folks are going to try to emulate, or you have already emulated. And I'm here to tell you that's not the move. Whether you're capable or incapable of handling yourself is irrelevant. The end result may end up you being no longer with us. And me, as a educator, I don't want that. Your teachers, your family, and your friends who love, admire, and respect you want you to be around for as long as biologically possible. Not based on the timeline and of your demise, but simply you existed and biology affected your life stream. We don't want to bury anybody else. It hurts us, and we could only imagine what it does to your families as as it affects your friends, your real friends, not the ones who put batteries in your back and gas you up and get you out there in the streets acting the fool, but the people who really truly value your existence. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a series of videos, and I'm going to react to those videos because I'm off my soapbox now, but I'm going to react to these videos and give you my perspective on what I think about what Kendrick Perkins and Shaquille O'Neal has said. So here we go.
You know, I actually saw this coming. And I'm very close with T. Morant and John Morant boys in this camp. Hell, I even had a relationship with Ja. And this summer I received a phone call, and I actually hit his pops up and his boys, and I said, hey man, I got a phone call, man, just tell Ja to chill. This ain't nothing he needs to be doing. They brushed me off. Perk, we got, okay, cool. What the hell do I know? Like, I went through these situations. I got in trouble outside of nightclubs while I was playing. I actually got called in the Danny Ainge's office, and he said, Perk, stop smoking all those damn Black and Miles and put that weed down. You're going to get yourself in trouble. You know, we know what's going on. Like, they know. And at the end of the day, this is the problem with the African-American community, right? Who are you doing it for? Are you doing it to get applaud, to get a nod, to say, oh yeah, man, you know what? He a real one. He a real one. He keep it real. Keep it real for who? You work.
First of all, Kendrick Perkins is a NBA veteran of, I believe they said 14 years. I believe it's 14 years. I don't remember per se, right? But Kendrick Perkins has played in the NBA. Kendrick Perkins is a very large man, okay? Clearly when you see this man come in, he can be an intimidating, imposing figure if you saw him. And far too many times, we in the African American community, we as black people, we claim that you got to be a real one. And first of all, the word one is actually substituted for the N word, just so you know. And the truth is, why are you trying to be quote unquote real? You want to know what else is real? When you're incarcerated. You want to know what else is real? When you lose that NBA contract. I know I have friends that has gone through the drafting process, number one. Number two, I have friends whose children are in the drafting process, meaning that they are being looked at. All right? So I'm not making any news here. But I assure you that the NBA has turned over every stone that you can imagine to figure out whether or not you are good for the brand or not. Okay? When I say turn over every stone, they turn over every stone. All right? They know who you hang out with. They know their GPAs. They know their criminal history. They know their lack of a criminal history. They know their influence on you and how much of an influence they have on you. And if it's not going to work out for you or for them with you, you're not getting drafted. And it be that simple. Something that simple can cost you millions of dollars. And then you wait another year, and when you realize that what they're telling you is real and that you're not going to get the opportunity to be successful until you move away from this side of the fence, now you got to go through workouts after workouts after workouts, and now you're on a 10-day contract. And that 10-day contract only pays you but so much. And then when they see that you're serious about your groove, then they'll offer you the real contract as opposed to that. But you let your anger get the best of you and you do very foolish things. you're probably the one that they're not going to put on their team because you do not fit their brand. You do not fit for Team A, Team B, Team 26, Team 30. All right? So Kendrick Perkins is telling this young man he ain't living right. You need to stop before you get got. Because he knows, and the only reason why he knows is because he's got ears to the ground of people who have ears to the ground. And they're letting him know, yo, Kendrick, you know this kid. Holla at your boy before he gets himself into something that he can't get himself out of. Call his parent, call his father, and lets them know, hey, I'm getting news, I'm getting information back that y'all are doing things that y'all should not be doing. I'm telling you what I know based on what somebody else knows. And as a result, you need to chill out. You get blown off. There's nothing worse than when somebody knows how things are going to play out and you don't listen. Because I've been there before. I've been around the block. I'm a teacher. I'm 46 years old. I'm a personal trainer. I'm 46 years old. I've got 2 children. I'm 46 years old. I know how this is going to play itself out, and it's not going to end well for you. And when I give those warnings as a educator, I get blown off like as if I'm a joke. And then when they fall victim to their own behaviors, then now they want to play victim as though they did nothing wrong. You got angry. You straight punched the kid in the face. Now you mad that you got suspended for 18 days or whatever. I'm just throwing random numbers out there. I know that's not legal, all right? But you're home. You're not getting educated. What do you think the consequences are going to be that when you're not getting this information and you've been gone for 3 days? And each day you're gone, each of your classes are 1.5 hours long. And you've been gone for 3 days? Let's do the math on that. Well, let's say you got 4 classes, all right? That's 6 hours. 6 times 3 is 18. You've missed 18 hours of educational value out of your life that you now have to spend trying to catch up doing what it is that you do to get a grade significant enough for you to be successful to getting a diploma. Now, like I said, Ja Morant did take accountability for what he did. So like I said, I'm not really throwing shade at him, but this is a lesson for those of us who reside in rage, who reside in anger, who resides in a mindset of negativity, where that they have to turn around and try to inflict pain on others simply because they're miserable. This is the result of what happens. You self-destruct. And in the process of your self-destruction, you might destroy other people and other things that had nothing to do with your rage, nothing to do with your anger. All to do what? Okay? So let's keep it real.
Your entire life to get out of a situation that you was in, to provide a better life for yourself, to secure your future, to secure your kids' future, your kids' kids' future, to get to this point, not to go back to relating or trying to please others. The thing is this, right? When it comes down to it, I hear a lot of people saying this. Oh, man, he's dumb, man. How can you just blow a situation? And how can you do this? That was just stupid of them. First of all, to the people in the outside world that actually never been in this situation, you don't know how hard it is. You don't understand coming from nothing and all of a sudden having the world in the palm of your hands, having access to millions or hundreds of millions of dollars, riding private jets, doing whatever the hell you want at a young age, 23, 24, 25 years of age. You don't even understand because you've never been in that position.
He's right. I've never been a millionaire. Not on that level, no. So here's the deal. And not at a young age either. Here's the deal. It is hard to be given this much responsibility and given this much power at a young age. I'm not note in defense of what Kendrick Perkins just said. I didn't call him stupid. I didn't call him dumb. What I'm pointing out is the emotional response based upon your perceived threat and what it can end up doing to you as a human being. You're angry. You're insulted. Disrespected. Okay. That's the case. Fine. What's up? What are we going to do? And when I say that, where I come from, what are you going to do or what are we going to do sounds like a threat. Okay? It's no threat there. I want you to think about what you're doing. You might hurt me. Now what? Now you are no longer viable in our society for however long they deem you necessary to be incarcerated. For what? To say you kept it real? Right? But now what? Who really got now? Yeah, I got punched in the face. I got shot. I got stabbed. I got beat within an inch of my life. But I'm not incarcerated. I'm not marked for the rest of my life as somebody who is potentially dangerous. I am not marked where I lose my freedoms that this country affords me just by simply being born now. That's not me. I still get to go vote. I still get to work at a bank if I choose to. I still get to run for office if I choose to. I still get to live life with the fullest potential that I can get based upon my God-given entitlements in this country. You, on the other hand, do not. And on top of that, you lose something that you worked your hard work for. You lose decades of hard work. You're 23 years old. Some of you, the individuals that I'm talking to, might be anywhere between 12 to beyond. I'll even go as far as to say even into their 50s and 60s. You're in that age range. You have put in time, work, and effort your entire life to get to the point of your success, and you blew it all away because you got mad. Because you're addicted to the adrenaline and the epinephrine that comes into your body and raises your heart levels, and that is your initial response. That is that you feed off of that reaction just to turn around and be back at square one. All right? So I'm going to move on because I don't want to spend too much time with this, but I want to hear what Shaq has to say about it. So here we go.
It was a bad choice. It was a bad decision. We have to stop, look in the camera and says, we have to stop putting ourselves in positions to where they could take away what we've worked so hard to get to. You should always believe in a higher power. I've always had the ability to stop time and say, if I do this, what's going to be the outcome? There's no excuse for what he did.
So, stop time. Think about what you're doing. What is going to happen if I do this? I'm telling you straight up. Look, I want you to see this. Look on the camera. That's my wrist dislocated. All because I lost control of my emotions. And I wasn't thinking about what would happen if I do this. Didn't think about it. I was so blinded by rage, I was not thinking. That's never going to happen again. I'm never going to put myself in a position where I am no longer not thinking. Whatever decision I make, it will be a sound mind and body one. All right? When you're angry, you have the option to choose a more constructive way to put yourself in a position to get the best outcome as opposed to getting the worst outcome. My jump shot is now affected by my decision to get angry. I can't shoot as good as I used to anymore. I have to modify the way I shoot in order to get a more effective shot as I shoot because my wrist does not bend that far into wrist flexion. All right? As a result of dislocating it in anger. Now, again, I pointed out earlier myself, he's talking about them taking away what you work so hard for. He's talking about taking away the contract, taking away the money. But I'm talking about, because some of us will never reach the levels of Shaquille O'Neal, John Morant, LeBron James, and any other athlete you can think of in terms of their financial success. So I'm going to put it to you in a way we all can relate to, and that is your freedom. Why are you going to relinquish your freedom? Because you're angry. Put yourself in a better mindset as opposed to sitting down, contemplating ways that you can hurt somebody as opposed to contemplating ways that you can improve your situation and you will not be in a compromised position again. If you know that this neighborhood compromises your safety, stop going to that neighborhood. If it happens to be the one you live in, go to school and go home. Figure out what you need to do to get out of that neighborhood. And when you do what John Morant and any other NBA or MLB or NFL athlete does to get to that point, you get out and you get to someplace safe. And you bring the people that matter to you directly to you. You don't go to said neighborhood to try to impress people that do not need to be impressed because they don't value you. Your anger is going to get the better of you. Your ego, more so, will get the better of you. My ego got the better of me, and like I said, I paid for it. Luckily for me, nothing less than just simple physical pain was the result of it. Let's keep going.
Remember, he pressed the button on his phone. He went live. We don't go live. Nobody knows he has a weapon. We're not talking about this. But he did that. And, why are you in the strip club with no shirt? Why are you walking around with a weapon? And why'd you hit the live button? So we have to stop putting ourselves in positions to where they can take away the things that we work hard to get for. I've seen your videos where your dad had the little cord and he trained you and your brothers. And I've also seen the video where your mom and dad, they got the nice mansion right next door to you. That's what we're trying to get to. And once we get there, we know the letter of the law. We know what not to do, what not to say, and we know common sense. Think of the higher power. Like, I feel for him now, but I also feel for his mother and father. Like, what are they going through? So guys, before you make a dumb decision, not a mistake, a dumb decision, a dumb choice, think of the higher power. Your mother, your father, your children. I'm not going to jump on the kid. He know what we did was wrong, but remember, he put himself in a position. He didn't have to go live.
So, there's the level of accountability. He didn't have to press that button. He didn't have to push the button. This relates to the human body in the sense that if you are not free you are not free and you're not healthy. If you're angry all the time, you're not healthy. And you need to do what it takes to get yourself out of that unhealthy situation so that you can be the best you. Questions, comments, concerns, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and on Instagram, and on YouTube, excuse me. Have a nice day, and be the best you.